Hello and welcome to the Manifest to Live Life Golden Show. This is episode 97. We are going to hit the rock star status today. So this show comes on the heels of me actually doing something a little crazy that I've not done. I've really not done this ever, I don't think. So I've been out of the actual workforce for a very long time. The last time that I actually had like a job was when my girls were, let's see, I'm trying to think of the last time I had a job. I actually did serving and I was probably in my very early 30s. And at that point, my husband and I decided that we would do whatever it takes for me to stay home with our girls. We had various babysitters and I was stressed out and I was bringing in money, but it really wasn't enough to compensate for the fact that our girls were being left alone with people. And it just wasn't like our family life wasn't exactly the way we wanted to create it. So we made a very solid decision that I would stay home with them. Now, if you're a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, that comes with a lot of challenges. And the challenges that I see now that I was presented with that I navigated the best that I could at the time were that you kind of lose your identity and you often feel like your life is not yours. You're just giving it to these little beings that really don't appreciate a lot of things. And you're constantly in service to people. And so through the course of that, I would do different things. Like I volunteered for church, I ran a Bible study, like I did a lot of different things to work on my own identity. So recently I decided I saw this place that I just absolutely love. It's a marketing company. And I had seen the inside of it and I was like, wow, this place is so cool. Like I could either see myself recording my podcast there someday. And then recently it just like hit me like ask them if they need any help, like if they're hiring. So I thought, well, that would be different and kind of fun to just like maybe get a job and see how that goes for me and how I like that and what I can learn and how I can grow in a position like that. So I decided to create a resume. And this was for like for writing, and I'm a really great writer. I do know that about myself. I do believe I have rock star status in writing, and I do give credit to my channel for that. I give credit to what's coming through me for that, absolutely, and what I am allowing. So I created a resume, and through creating a resume, I was like, holy crap, like I've done a lot of things. Because when I was thinking about first initially creating it, I was like, well, what the hell have I done? Like I haven't had a job in like 30 years. So how am I going to present myself as someone who is even like hireable? And through the course of doing that resume, I was like, wow, I really have done a lot and I really do have a lot to offer. So that's what this show is really about, is helping you to recognize where your gifts and talents are and maybe where you've been discounting them or where you've been discounting the gifts and talents that you could be presenting to the world and creating abundance through because you've been in that low self-esteem, low self-confidence stuff for way too long. That is a really powerless position. And I do believe low self-esteem and low self-confidence comes from a lot of that shitty committee and those beliefs that we were given before the age of 5. Because of that, we don't initiate with our power, with our true self-confidence, and with shining those gifts and talents so that we can truly become abundant in nature. And now, abundant in nature doesn't necessarily mean money, although abundance is the vibration of money, but abundance is a lot of fulfillment. It's about living your purpose every day. It's about feeling like you're really shining your light, that you're growing, that you're becoming more, and that you're being challenged. You know, we don't want to be in these situations where we're in the mundane all the time and we're just getting through life. We want to be challenged. We want to have life force coming through us. We want to connect with different gifts and talents that maybe we don't even know we have right now because we've been keeping ourselves small. We want to get out of the freaking box. So, what does it really mean to have like a rock star status? So, I started thinking about that. And I don't know what the hell this rock star status stuff is really about. I just know that I call people rock stars a lot. I can often feel like I am a rock star with the things that I do. And I think this is what rock star means to me when I say your rock star status. It means feeling pride, feeling a feeling of pride. And we've been given a disservice in life because we've been told not to get too full of ourselves, right? Like we don't want to live from our egos. We don't want to live from this boastful place. And quite honestly, when people do live from that boastful place and they're very ego-centered, I believe there's an underlying low self-esteem there where they have to talk about their accolades all the time to feel better about themselves. So I don't even believe that's a high self-esteem. I believe a high self-esteem and high self-confidence is when you know who you are, when you know what you bring to the table, and when you're no longer afraid of what other people think of you. And when you really take stock in everything you've lived through, and you take stock in the navigation that you have you've been creating, you've been refining, you've been fine tuning, you've been doing all of that, and you haven't given up. Hopefully you haven't given up. So this is about rising above that, and it's being proud of yourself for the ways in which you have changed, the ways that you've awakened. If you're listening to this podcast, obviously you're in a level of your awakening that is beyond a lot of people. You're no longer living in this illusion or this like super dense reality. You're looking for answers that go beyond what you've known before, and that is freaking awesome. So it's a feeling of pride. It's owning your gifts and talents and saying, yes, I'm really good at that. I can say, I'm good at public speaking. I'm good on video. I'm good at writing. I can say these things because I've done them enough to refine them, to fine tune them, where I feel a sense of pride for doing them and for doing them what I believe is well. I do get feedback on that as well. So there's evidence in the universe that I am doing a good job. So look at the evidence in your universe. Look at the evidence, look at the way that people say, I really appreciate you, or I really love that you do this, or you do this really well. If you're not getting a lot of that, it could be because you're blocking it with listening to too much of the shitty committee. I did a video or an episode on the shitty committee way back, probably like 50 shows ago. And basically what the shitty committee is, it's a lot of the belief systems and the voices of the old self. It's that limiting self identity that was given to us by other people that were in limitation, people that wanted to fix us, people that believed we needed to live in a box, that we needed to live a certain way, be good girls, be good boys. And if we strayed from that, then we would start to create this limiting vision of ourselves. If we didn't live up to what our parents thought, or if we didn't live up to what society says is successful, we may have this limiting view of ourselves. One of the things that drives me the most crazy, and I lived this for a long time, is our stay-at-home moms and dads that have chosen to stay home with the kids and raise them. What a freaking important job that is. It's like we give like people like football players and boxers, like people that beat the crap out of each other. We give them hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's like, for what? Like, what about the people that are actually raising the next generation? We're a little skewed on that in our society. So if you can take that and go, holy crap, I really am doing something very important for the world. I'm raising the next generation. I'm helping another human move into their gifts and talents and become an amazing person. If you can do that, then you wouldn't feel less than in that position, which I did a lot. And my advice in that situation would be to find stuff that is about your identity. Write, create, there's a lot of things you can do from home. And I know we are kind of tapped out when it comes to time, when we have little ones, especially. But there's nap time. There's times that you can carve out where you can do little things. You can get up early. You should be getting up early if you have little ones to meditate before they get up, because you really want to prepare your day and you want to prepare your vibration to not be subject to theirs. So you really want to prepare yourself. That's a time when you can do writing. If you write 3 pages a day, you're going to have 90 pages by the end of a month. It's amazing. That's how I got my book out in a really short time. So whatever it is, writing, video, just creating in general. If you love to cook, make cooking videos. Those are like huge right now. I'm creating a recipe book. There's so many things that you can do that will help your gifts and talents to become more and to create a source of income through them. So, owning your gifts, living from your confidence. So if you've never really lived from your confidence before, I'm going to tell you, living from your confidence is getting out of your comfort zone and showing yourself how powerful you are. It's also about letting go of what people's judgment is. And if you have that going on, if you're really worried about people's judgment, you have a judgment of yourself. You do. And that's something to be worked on, something to grab my journal, Mindful Manifestation Daily Secrets Guide and Journal. That will help you to start digging into these belief systems that have caused a disconnect from the self-confidence of who you are. Because if you knew, geez, Louise, if you knew how truly powerful you are, you would not do this low self-esteem, low self-confidence stuff anymore. You would be like, that is a waste of my time. If you could do that, if you could interrupt the low self-esteem, like I don't know how, or I can't, interrupt that with that is a waste of my time. Often I will shift and up level and go, I'm figuring this out. Like I am smart, and there is Google. You can Google everything. So if you could just shift out of that and go, damn it, I'm doing this, and get really determined and really focused on living your talents, that low self-esteem bullshit, it's just a voice. It really is just a voice. As much as it is energy that lives in your body, you can release it by no longer driving it, by no longer focusing on it and focusing on those beliefs that drive it. All right. Deciding you will and can accomplish what calls to you. It's just a decision. It's a decision, and it's moving from that decision. So that decision means that you have to let go of the old beliefs and old stories that you procrastinate, that you never finish things. All that shit needs to be let go of if you're going to move into this strong decision of, I'm doing this. When you do that, when you're like, I'm like, when my husband and I booked our plane tickets to come to California, we're like, we're doing this. There's no going back. I don't know if you've ever heard the story about burning the boats. Like they were going into battle and they literally burned their boats because there was no going back. They were moving forward and they were going to take over the land, even if it meant death, because they weren't going to retreat. That's what making that solid decision is it's not retreating. It's not letting that shitty committee talk you out of what's calling you inside. It's working through the fears, it's working through the density, and it's putting your vision out into the world by taking those steps forward. They don't have to be giant leaps of faith, although those really do work. It can be small incremental steps towards what you want, but it's got to be steps forward. It can't be a step forward, step back, step forward. That is like, that is misery when you do that. You got to make a decision and you got to go full force ahead. That's the greatest way to work through fears and to build your self-confidence. You will not build your self-confidence by thinking about it. You will build it by doing it. Okay, not caring what other people think. So that's the judgment piece. And I don't know if that comes with awakening. I don't know if that comes with age, but I would say over the course of the last few years, I have really given up in that whole thing of caring what people think. That is a wound, feeling embarrassed, being nervous you're going to screw things up. It's a wound, and you can heal it and you can get to the center of it and figure out, why do I always feel that way? And how is that way screwing up my confidence? How is that way keeping me from living the life I say I want? Once you start to clear all this stuff up and you move through a little bit of fear, you'll come out the other side and you'll feel so much better, and life will show you evidence that you can actually create better. Okay. Um, Turning off that shitty committee. I talked about that. No longer listening to that baloney that's in your head that tells you you're not good enough, that tells you you can't, that tells you always screw things up. Letting go of those voices. This life is such a huge letting go process. And when you start to let go of the beliefs that are blocking you, manifestation becomes fast, super fast. Forgiving yourself. So forgiving yourself when you make mistakes, forgiving yourself because of where you are in life. Maybe you're not as far as you wished you had thought you were going to be. Maybe you did some things that interrupted the flow. It's forgiving yourself. It's letting yourself off the hook and saying, you know what? Today is a new day. We create from today. And that's the only thing that matters. So forgiving yourself and moving forward and saying, you know what, I did the best that I could with what I knew at that time. And now it's time for me to really move into that identity of who I say I want to be. And then changing your reaction to stuff, changing your responses to stuff is huge. It's huge. So, if you do something that you did before, let's say you decide and you're going to do this. Let's just take a little workout program. Let's say, okay, that's it. I'm getting in shape. I'm going to be healthy, fit, and strong. And you start out and you're going strong for about a week. And then let's say you get sick, you get a cold, you get a cough, whatever, and you can't go to the gym and work out. That is classic of you then saying, well, just forget it and not going back to it. But instead, if you respond differently and you say, okay, as soon as I'm feeling a little bit better, I'm going back at it, whether it's just a little walk or whatever, I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it again because I have that integrity to myself and I'm making that promise and I'm changing my identity. So your response is everything. It's everything because it drives energy differently. It allows you to become more of what you say you want to be. So you have to ask yourself pretty consistently, do I want to go back to that old self or have I truly decided that I am someone new? And get out of that shitty committee conversation. That's all it is. It's just a conversation that tells you that you do this all the time. That, of course, this is happening because you do this all the time, right? Get out of it. Let it go. Do something different. And then you're going to actually create a new identity of someone who who navigates the challenges, who doesn't give up, who sees things through, who finishes things, who actually creates the life that you most say you want. Okay. Yeah. So questioning and letting go of the beliefs that deep down that you're not that you're not able to create something, letting go of that, letting so go of that. Okay. So what is your self-talk like? We've talked about the shitty committee and all of that. It's like, what are you saying to yourself on a daily basis? What do you initiate with on the moment to moment thing? When things happen, how do you deal with them? How do you treat yourself? Treating yourself in a higher regard is the way that you're going to get into rock star status. A rock star who is, if you think about like what a rock star is, there's somebody who is highly regarded, right? They're highly regarded by audiences, by tons of people. They have a lot of appreciation for them. They've got fans, they've got people clapping for them. Think about that. So you have to be that for yourself. You have to be your own audience to cheer yourself on and not put yourself down. You don't want to be booing yourself, right? In the crowd. You don't want to be that one booing yourself. You want to be the one uplifting yourself. You want to look at your challenges and go, okay, how do I rise above this? How do I maintain my rock star status no matter what happens? Start questioning seriously, like, why do I believe this about myself? Why do certain people or certain situations make me fold, make me go into myself, make me feel less than? I had situations with certain people in my life where I would feel like I was 5 years old again, and I would feel like I didn't have a voice, and I felt like I couldn't speak. Like literally my throat chakra would just shut down, and I had to work on that, and I had to become more from that, or else I would stay in that low self-esteem. I would stay that little girl who I am no longer, right? Like I have a voice. I need to use it. I need to share what my intuition is saying. What's screaming inside of me needs to come out of my mouth, or else I'm going to live a life that is less than, and that's not good enough. And if there are relationships that bring me into that place that no longer allow me to really speak my truth, then they may have to go. They may have to go from your life. Okay. Have you, why you believe certain things about yourself? Have you ever focused on your gifts and spent time contemplating all that you have accomplished? That's what happened when I did this resume. Other things I love to do is like write down past manifestations, or this show is a great forum for me to do that, to remember the stuff that we've manifested, like $10,000, a trip to Hawaii, a move to California, I mean, 3 books I've written, like I'm not saying this to brag, I swear. I'm saying this because I need to do that sometimes. I have moments of doubt. I have moments where I'm not feeling in my power. So when you do that and you remind yourself, holy crap, I lived through that. And holy crap, I did that for that person. And holy crap, I did that for myself. And I did that. When you do that, what you do is you bolster yourself into a higher vibration of confidence and self-esteem that allows you to move forward in a more firm foundation, in a stronger, firmer foundation of the confidence of who you are. You know, I talk about this a lot, about starting and trying new things. And I, recently, over the past year, we've been doing hip hop classes from like on and off. We've been doing hip hop classes. And funny, our new gym actually has hip hop classes now, which is really cool. So we can even go for free. And my daughter is an incredible hip hop dancer. So it's great because it's something her and I can do together. And, it's not something that's in my comfort zone. It's definitely not. And I realized that I had taken a ballet class about 5 years ago or 4 years ago, because it was something that I never finished as a child. And I always felt that like regret, and I wanted to just get rid of that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a ballet class and I'm going to learn all the things and I'm going to be confident in it. And, I had to work through some fears doing that. I definitely did. And like the whole like hopping across the room, like doing things across the room, that was a wound for me because I had my teacher call me out a few times when I was younger. And a lot of it, I was like 8 years old when I did that, was my low self-esteem. When you have low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and anxiety, that's what it is. Anxiety shuts down your channel. So when you have anxiety and you're worried about judgment from the room, that's when your brain cannot connect to your feet. You can't actually flow with the energy. You can't actually figure things out when you're in anxiety because it blocks your wisdom channel. I realized that in a lot of talks that I did where I was worried about the judgment from other people, they were the worst talks I ever did because I was worried about what people were thinking instead of just opening up my channel and allowing the wisdom to speak. So now taking these hip hop classes, like I'm feeling so confident about learning dances, which was a big fear for me. Like I took ballroom dancing with my husband once. He paid for classes for us and he's really good. He's a great dancer. And the instructor made me sit down. She was like, and she was kind of making fun of me. She wasn't nice. And I remember sitting there and watching her dance with him. And I'm like, damn it, why can't I get this? Why am I not good at this? Right. So getting over that was a huge step in my self-confidence where I will get out and I will learn any dance now. I freaking love it. And one of the connections I made recently with hip hop was they had a little thing from the electric slide. And I was like, holy crap, I love the electric slide. I've done it at every single wedding and I know it. And I always know it, even if it's been a few years. So connecting that with my joy and what I love really helped me in hip hop. But last night, oh my goodness, so funny. So yesterday was our 30th wedding anniversary. I know, I can't even believe it's been 30 years. And we got married on Valentine's Day because we planned our wedding in 10 days. We just wanted to get married. I already had a baby with my husband. We had been together for 7 years and I was just tired of not being his wife. So we threw together this wedding. We thought it was perfect to get married on Valentine's Day. I had a couple cousins getting married in the summer. So we needed to do it like now. It was like now or wait another year. And so 10 days, we throw this incredible wedding together and 30 years. Yeah, 30 years. So yesterday, my oldest daughter's here with her husband, which is why the podcast is a few days late. And we went hiking. We had an amazing hike. We hiked like 6 miles and then we went to dinner. And it was funny because we weren't going to go out because there's all these like prefix menus and we hate dealing with that. But I found this place. It's a Peruvian restaurant in Laguna. If you're local, oh my gosh, it is amazing. It's called Sueños, which means dream. And they have these incredible murals on the wall. It's just one of my favorite places. The ambiance is so great. And it's always a party. Like it's always a party. We went there for New Year's Eve and it literally turned into a nightclub at 9 o'clock, which was so fun. And so we went last night. I had this intuition to make reservations there. They didn't have a prefix menu. And we got back from our hike and we were cold. It was cold out and we were like, oh, should we go out? And just the intuition just kind of took over. And we all just kind of were like, yeah, let's just go. Let's just go out. Let's have fun. So we went out, we had an amazing dinner, and unbeknownst to us, which happens to us a lot, like parades happen a lot to us, like parties, like things just happen that are unexpected, that are surprising and delightful, that we didn't bank on. But I feel like we're in a high vibration where these things have the potential to always happen. So we're sitting there and all of a sudden that we see these people coming in and they look like dancers and we're like, what the hell is going on? And it was flamenco dancing. It was so fun. I'm actually going to put some videos on my Instagram story. You can check them out there. Super fun, such a blast. And at one point, it was just, we were all so riveted and we were literally sitting at the front table. Like the woman who sat us, she's like, this is VIP status. And they overheard me. My neighbor was there. My neighbor showed up to have dinner with his wife and they overheard me telling him that it was our 30th wedding anniversary. So they actually announced it from the flamenco dancers were like, okay, we have a 30th wedding anniversary. So fun. So then we actually went up and danced. It was so fun. They invited us up to dance. They taught us a little dance. And I just felt like I felt in my groove. I felt like a rock star. I felt like I was confident and I didn't even notice the people in the room, to be honest. I was so just in the element of having fun and wanting to do this. I think I need to take flamenco lessons, honestly. Such a cool dance. So yeah, we had an absolute blast last night. And the point of telling you that is just because I've been doing the hip hop, because I've been trying new things, this was not out of my comfort zone. This did not feel like, okay, I don't think I can do this and I'm terrified to get on stage in front of people. No, it was like, I readied for this. I'm ready for this. I'm prepared for this. So that's the point of doing things that are new. And that's the point of getting out of your comfort zone, is going, I'm ready for this. So whatever it is, whatever's challenging you, whatever you've been wanting to do for a long time that you keep holding yourself from, just go do it. Just go stick that toe in the water and start doing something that initiates it. It could have nothing to do with it, right? Like getting this job doesn't really have anything. Well, it does. It has stuff to do with me moving forward. And honestly, I may not even get it and it doesn't really matter to me, which is great, but it's just moving forward and listening to my intuition and initiating from that place of saying yes to life. You gotta say yes to life more. You absolutely do. So 7 ways, we're going to jump real quick into the 7 ways to amplify the love that you are, because when you are connected to your self-love, you will be connected to your self-confidence. It's an alignment. It's an alignment. When you know who you are and you love yourself, you will live from your confidence because you will know that you are an infinite being. You will know that you are the purest essence of love. And that love comes through you in your gifts, in your talents, in the way that you share that light in the world, the way that you shine your light. All right, here's 7 ways to love yourself more. Value yourself. What does that mean to value yourself? It means that you work from your inner guidance. You ask yourself if something's right for you, and you don't give from that place of lack. So you value yourself. You put good food in your body. You move your body. You exercise your body. You treat your body like the temple that it is. You don't put poison in it. You don't put a lot of sugar in it. You don't treat it like it's a piece of crap or like it's a piece of, like it's going to stay healthy forever, even if you do unhealthy things. Like you connect with the fact that you're valuing who you are. Like I value myself too much to put drugs in my body. I'm even getting to the point where I don't want to do aspirin anymore because it's like I value my liver too much to put toxic things in it. Valuing yourself means not talking down to yourself, not treating yourself like a piece of shit, not eating your emotions. That's valuing yourself. It's saying, I am going to connect with that power that I have to create, that power that I have to speak, to allow my throat chakra to share my truth with the world. When you do that, when you connect with that, other people are going to show you evidence that you are valuable. When you know your value, other people will show you that value as well. They'll reflect it to you. So, valuing yourself, think about that. How do I value myself? What do I do for myself? What do I do that shows myself that I love myself? Do I do a lot of things for other people? Do I do a lot of things out of obligation? Do I end up at the end of the day exhausted because I've done nothing to value myself? You got to look at that. So, how do you value yourself? Find ways to do that. Do what ups your vibe. So do what ups your vibe. Listen to the music you love. Take baths. Get out in nature. Oh my goodness. Like we got out in nature yesterday. And whenever I get out there, I think, why don't I do this more? You ever do that? And it's just so silly. It's like, get out in nature more, because nature, going for walks, says I value myself. I'm moving forward in life. I'm connecting with that well-being. So what else ups your vibe? Not like, if you can connect with the things that actually raise your vibration and not lower your vibration, you're going to put yourself in a stronger foundation. So you may need to let go of substances. You may need to let go of shitty foods. You may need to let go of habits that continue to drive that feeling of not loving yourself, that feeling of not loving your body, that feeling of not really connecting with your health. All right, stop giving love to get love. And that is usually an overgiving place, when you are giving too much, when you are trying to get love and trying to get everybody to like you by doing things for them, by chasing them, by being desperate for love. You are not really valuing yourself. You're not connecting with your self-love when you're looking outside of yourself constantly for somebody to tell you that you're lovable, for somebody to tell you that you matter. You need to do this within. You need to connect with that truth for yourself, and then it's going to be reflected to you. If you're looking for a relationship right now, I have a lot of single people in my life that, have a lot of beliefs about relationships. And I think often people can look at my relationship with my husband and maybe feel a little jealousy or feel like we were lucky because we met really young. And it's true. There was an element of manifestation in that I can't really explain, other than, the whole idea of soulmate situations. But we have worked. There were times we could have let this go, and we never did. We were both so determined. At a very early time in our relationship, I'm trying to think if we were even married. Yeah, we were newly married. The girls were really small. Our little girl, our oldest girls were like 16 months apart, and we were in our early 20s. So it was nuts out. And we lived in a 900 square foot apartment that just had 2 bedrooms, and that was it. And it was so tiny and so challenging. And paying bills everything was really challenging back then. And I remember we got into this really big fight once, and this actually came and helped me to quit a job that I really needed to quit. And we just made this decision, like, divorce was not an option. And because we did that, we never fed into the focus or that connection with divorce. And if you've been divorced, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Oftentimes it was just part of your progress. It was part of your growing and becoming more. So it's okay. But for us, we just had this dogged determination to stay together and to create a relationship that we really have found is very rich and very deep. And one of the secrets, I think, to our marriage and to our super close best friendship is we love and respect each other so much. And we don't blame each other for stuff. We really don't do that anymore. We did, for sure. But instead, we kind of go, okay, where's my stuff in this? And what do we need to clean up? And there's not a lot of harsh words between us. There's very much a lot of respect. And if any harshness does happen, we apologize almost immediately, because we value each other. We value ourselves, we value who we are, and then we value each other. And that's like the secret. It really is. And having compassion for one another and looking at the other person's life and just being like, you know what, they're going through it right now. And I can be that support and I can be that love for them, instead of being like, you're being a real jerk right now. That's never helpful. saying stuff like that is never helpful. So yeah, love, respect, value each other, have some compassion, shift the energy if you're in that harsh place. And, if you feel like you can't do it alone, you can. Like, you can shift the energy alone and you can start helping the relationship to get cleaned up at least. And hopefully, you just put out the vibes and you put out the energy to help that person connect with their truth and their self love so that you can come back together and be whole together. That's huge, huge. I may do a whole show. I may do actually a series on that. I'm seriously considering a marriage series and working to get my husband to work on that with me. So that's coming. That's coming because it keeps coming. So it's going to come. Okay. Believe in yourself. Okay. How do we believe in ourselves? By letting go of the shitty committee, by letting go of those low self-esteem beliefs. Really, it's just a letting go. And it's like, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star. And you can't really fool yourself by doing that. But what you can do is you can let go of the stuff that's blocking it. And as you let go of the stuff that's blocking it, you're going to raise your vibration. Getting out of your comfort zone, doing the things that you're being called to, that you keep talking about and you don't do them. Just do them. Do them. You won't regret it. I promise. You will never regret walking through your comfort zone. You will always find fulfillment, expansion, and growth at the end of that comfort zone. I promise. Get comfortable with following your guidance versus obligation. So when somebody asks you to do something, be like, okay, I just need a few minutes. I got to meditate on that. I love that. And if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Don't do things out of obligation. I promise. Like, life is not good when we're doing that. It is not. It just becomes life sucking. So you don't want to do that anymore. Remind yourself of all you have gotten yourself through and rocked it. Remind yourself, write down all of your manifestations, write down all of your gifts and talents, what you're good at. It could be something simple as, I'm really good at caring for people. I'm really good at having compassion and listening to people. I'm really good at shifting people's energy. I'm really good at that. What are you good at? There are things, I promise. You are not bad at everything. We all came here with gifts and talents. I truly believe that. And because of that, we are being given the ability to live a life that is more than. It's more than we've lived before. We have the ability to live rock star status in any industry, in anything we decide to bring to the world. This is the time. This is the best time in our society, in your life, to shine. It is the best time because there are so many different forums and ways to do it. You just have to let go of whatever's blocking it. So if you have something you want to accomplish, if you have something you want to do, write down all the ways that you're blocking it. Write down all the beliefs that are in the way. And then crumple that piece of paper up and burn it. And then write down the beliefs you need to have to do it, to rock it, to be in that rock star status. And then hold that list, read that list, and start thinking from that list. And before you know it, rock star status. And you can say, I am a rock star. You are allowed. There is no such thing as being too boastful. I really, unless you're super narcissistic and you're only living from your ego, which I believe is a low self-confidence place, it's okay to say, I did this. I did this. It's good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to be proud of ourselves. It's a good thing to cheer ourselves on. We don't do that enough. We just hold ourselves down under the water. It's a good thing to do that because it's going to help you to initiate more of your self-confidence because you're putting yourself in alignment with it. And that alignment is everything. All right, guys, you can get my book, Mindful Manifestation Secrets, on Amazon. That is our story. That is actually the detailed way and steps of manifesting. So it's a great short 85-page read. You also learn a lot about our journey and what we went through and the miracles we created. And a lot of people have given me feedback about that book that they have manifestations after reading it because it tunes you into your power. The second book is Mindful Manifestation. I picked the longest titles ever. Yeah, good keywords on Amazon. Mindful Manifestation Secrets Daily Guide and Journal. That's going to go deeper. That's going to give you questions to help you to let go of this low self-esteem and low self-confidence and become more. I also have deep mind training on my website. It's $77. I will send you the recording. I'll send you the writing prompts and the guided meditations that go with it. That is like gold. $77 is like, that's a shifter because there's energy transference in my teachings that actually will help you to create a great shift. And I have a lot of new stuff coming. So just hang on there. I'm going to enjoy my family this week until next Wednesday. And I'm going to have a good old time. Let me know if you have questions too. You can get me at livelifegolden@gmail.com. Let me know if you have questions, or comment on my YouTube, like, share, subscribe on YouTube. That really helps me. And I will answer your questions on the show. I love doing that. I absolutely love doing that because it becomes more of a co-creative effort. And then you feel special because I connected with whatever challenge you were having. And then I can help you shift right here on the show. All right. Love y'all. Peace.